Yes, he became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome.
And let me just say this.
Unlike the sitting president, another former resident of the White House demonstrated what it means to lead with empathy in the face of tragedy, while taking a clear swipe at the leader of the country after his repulsive comments on the death of Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle.
His wife being killed in their home in Los Angeles.
I have to say that for the President of the United States to take this family tragedy in which both Reiner and his wife were killed and say that it's because of Trump derangement syndrome, I thought was well beneath him and beneath the office. And I think it would have been better if the president had made no comment.
This week, the world was rocked by the brutal deaths of filmmaker Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, a couple who were beloved not just for their art, but of course their deep commitment to family and community. And less than 24 hours later, President Donald Trump chose to respond not with any sort of empathy or even condolences, but in a social media post suggesting that the tragedy had something to do with what he described as Trump derangement syndrome.
For Trump to have put that out today, I'm going to say it. You know, damn it, there's an American family grieving.
Yeah.
This is a tragedy, not just for the family, but for all who knew and loved him. And for the President of the United States to make this about him and a way to attack Rob Reiner because he exercised his American right to speak up with what he disagreed with is shameful, is disgraceful. And out of all the disgusting things that Donald Trump has done, this is right up there.
And that response ignited outrage across the political spectrum. And when the subject was brought up on Jimmy Kimmel last night, former First Lady Michelle Obama addressed the matter, spoke volumes about the current political moment and the widening divide between how leaders choose to address tragedy as the spokesperson for the country versus our current leader who decides to weaponize it. And when Michelle Obama discussed how she and her husband Barack Obama were supposed to spend time with the Reiners the night that they were killed, she offered a quiet but deeply pointed rebuke of the man politicizing their deaths without naming Trump directly.
I feel like I should bring up, I know you and your husband were friends with Rob and Michelle Reiner, and I'm very sorry for your loss.
My God.
How long have you known the Reiners?
We've known them for many, many years, and we were supposed to be seeing them that night, last night. And we got the news. And let me just say this, unlike some people, Rob and Michelle Reiner are some of the most decent, courageous people you ever want to know. They're not deranged or crazed. What they have always been are passionate people in a time when there's not a lot of courage going on. They were the kind of people who were ready to put their actions behind what they cared about. And they cared about their family, and they cared about this country, and they cared about fairness and equity. And that is the truth. I do know them.
Michelle Obama, we'll be right back.
And the thing is, the contrast could not be clearer, right? It couldn't be clearer in how Rob Reiner himself discussed certain matters like the death of Charlie Kirk, someone he clearly disagreed with vehemently, still chose to lead with humanity and common decency when he was asked to comment on his death.
And I got to know him a little bit, and he, tremendously successful movie actor, director, son of the comedy legend Carl Reiner. And yet there was an everyman quality about him. He hung out at the same Santa Monica restaurants that everybody else did. And he was a mensch. And he spoke out and denounced the murder of Charlie Kirk and had very gracious things to say about his widow, Erica.
Talking Points USA actually posted that clip with Piers Morgan. Take a listen.
When you first heard about the murder of Charlie Kirk, what was your immediate gut reaction to it?
Well, horror, absolute horror. And I unfortunately saw the video of it, and it's beyond belief what happened to him, and that should never happen to anybody. I don't care what your political beliefs are. That's not acceptable.
Turning Points posting that guy. Meantime, there are Trump supporters out posting criticism. Robbie Starbuck, he's a conservative, a supporter of the president. What happened last night to Rob Reiner and his wife was a savage butchering of 2 human lives. I don't care what their politics were or how they felt about Trump. No law-abiding human deserves this. We should pray for and send condolences to his loved ones and not make it political. Here's Senator John Kennedy.
I don't think the president should have commented.
Oh, of course, the man driven by an insatiable quest to inflate his own ego would make this horrific event about himself, using a family's unimaginable grief as a political wedge. I don't even have words at this point. And listen, when your rhetoric has the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Michelle Obama ending up on the same side, you know that you are a monster in a league of your own.
Well, Brianna, a number of Republican lawmakers have started to criticize President Donald Trump over these posts that he made relating to the death of Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Reiner. We have heard from both centrist and conservative lawmakers who have said the president crossed the line with these types of comments, turning to politics instead of focusing on the tragedy at hand. Congressman Mike Lawler, who's from a swing district in New York, posted on social media, quote, "This statement is wrong. Regardless of one's political views, no one should be subjected to violence, let alone at the hands of their own son. It's a horrible tragedy that should engender sympathy and compassion from everyone in our country, period." Lawler is one of the president's closest allies up here on Capitol Hill. We've also heard from Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has recently become more critical of the president, who wrote, "This is a family tragedy, not about politics or political enemies." Then you have Congressman Thomas Massey, also someone who is frequently critical of this White House, saying, regardless of how you felt about Rob Reiner, this is inappropriate and disrespectful discourse about a man who was just brutally murdered. He challenged some of his Republican colleagues to come up with some explanation to defend the president here, but so far it doesn't seem like that has happened. Now, just a short while ago, House Speaker Mike Johnson did comment on the death of Rob Reiner, expressing sorrow for the incident, but he notably did not answer reporters' questions about President Trump's post relating to Reiner, as he alleged that he had died due to Trump derangement syndrome. Now, Rob Reiner was very active in Democratic politics and was a frequent critic of President Donald Trump. But even some Republicans have said that the president simply went too far with these posts on Truth Social this morning.
But the thing is, I want to end with this, right? Echoing the remarks of Jimmy Kimmel yesterday on Rob Reiner, saying that he would not want us to let up, not at all. Instead, double down, zone in on the amount of damage that this man is doing to the country that Rob Reiner loved, to the economy in this country, to its standing on the global stage. We must continue to speak out on that.
We have a racist in the White House. We have a sexist in the White House, and he is tearing away at the fabric of our democracy.
The single most unqualified human being to ever assume the presidency of the United States. He's mentally unfit.
People always say, you know, he could redo All in the Family. I said, what do you mean? We're living it. We've got Archie in the White House. He always, when he quotes something that isn't him, and they're talking about Donald Trump, he goes, "Well, Donald Trump, every character is exactly the same. Well, Donald Trump, every time. And he always does that walk where he does like this, you know? Always.
The problem he has, as far as I can see, is that he's a pathological liar. People have to understand our democracy is being taken away from us. Make no mistake, we have a year before this country becomes a full-on autocracy. This is not a political party anymore. I don't know what this is. I believe there's a Christian nationalist movement that's very frightening. Do we want to continue democracy, or do we want to slip into fascism?
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.